Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another options and play video update. So continuing this theme that I mentioned yesterday, I want to do some of these videos this week, maybe even next. We'll see how the week goes. Just talking about some like earnings concepts, some like earnings things to watch. So today it's the follow through setup. So if you're lucky enough to be involved with stock or options on something that has a big gap and maybe like a huge move on the earnings day, that's awesome, right? I mean, that can be like a really nice opportunity. However, if you weren't, right, like I'll talk about Lockheed in a second, but say you just weren't involved, right? I mean, maybe it's not something you typically look at, or maybe you just weren't expecting that big of a move, right? Which is kind of the case with me with Lockheed. I just wasn't expecting that big of a move. Um, there can still be some potential, okay? But usually for me, it comes like the day after, maybe like the couple days after. So the earnings follow through setup um, is all about closing closing strong or closing weak. So something that's up a lot that closes near the high of the day, or something that's down a lot that closes near the low of the day. Okay, so like these are large gaps, large moves, stocks that close near the high of the day. So for Lockheed, obviously close near the high of the day, or on the downside, if there's something that gets hit really hard, like say like 20, 25, 30% closes on the low of the day, like that would qualify on the downside. So what I'm looking at, so in this case of Lockheed, is the follow through the next day revolves around taking out or trading through like the high of the previous session. So for Lockheed today, like the trade was when it crossed through the high from yesterday, which was around 447.50. You're looking for, oh, excuse me, not 447.50. It was around 435.51. That was the high from yesterday. So then what you're doing is you're looking for a continuation, okay? And sometimes it could just be, marginally. Sometimes it could be material, right? I mean, you don't really know. It depends on how like the overall market acts. Also, it depends on how like the stock or how traders were positioned, right? If people weren't in it and they would need to play catch up, maybe there's another day, right? And going forward, typically you hear us talk about like 3 days, right? Like the 3 day rule. You're looking normally for like a 3 day extension and then maybe a pause. So for Lockheed, you got the first big day, you get the second day, and then maybe there could even possibly be a third day. But on the third day, obviously, the risk is a little bit higher that the stock could pause or roll over. So for me, what I'm doing is like, the day the earnings come out, like that day, like, I'm starting to really pay attention, track different stocks. So for the name for tomorrow, it's going to be Netflix. I mean, right now, and we'll see how the rest of the day plays out, but right now, Netflix, big gap, strong session. It's still early, so we don't know if it's going to close near the high, but if it closes somewhere around here, this is definitely something that I'm going to be paying attention to for possible follow through, right? And the plan will be like it was maybe for like Lockheed today or some other name like the day before. It's like, see if it opens green. Does it trade through the high from yesterday? If so, then you're looking for a continuation through the high, and then you could even possibly use the stop on the way down as the previous day's high, right? So if it breaks out through today's high tomorrow, you could use maybe a stop around the high of the day. So that gives you kind of like an exit. If it does cross back below today's high, then maybe you can exit before the stock starts to roll over. Okay, so these are things you really want to start to pay attention to. I mean, we haven't seen any huge moves on the downside yet, but I'm sure they're coming. And those are things you want to focus on the low of the day, right? So something that closes weak. Next day, you're looking for a continuation to the downside, so that'd be taking out the previous day's low, and then similarly, you could use a stop at the previous day's low for like the short pattern. Okay. So just food for thought as we get into earnings season here, because there's going to be a lot of stocks gapping, a lot of big moves, and can't be in everything. And if you do end up missing a big 1 day move, don't sweat it, because there could be another day or even a couple after that. All right. So if you like this video and you're looking for more information about trading events with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options to play. Have a great night. Stay well, and we'll talk to you.